The Life of St. Francis de Sales. St. Francis de Sales was born on the 21st of August, 1567, at the castle of Sales, Thorins, in Savoy, France. His father was Francis de Novelles, known as Monsieur de Boissy, and his mother was Frances de Sonaz, known as Madame de Boissy. They were devout Catholics and brought up Francis in a good and religious family atmosphere. He was baptized on the 28th of August, 1567, and given the name Francis Bonaventure de Sales. Like a sunflower always turned toward the sun, Francis was drawn to God from his earliest years.
Francis's father had great ambitions for him. When Francis was 6, he was sent to the famous residential school at La Roche, 1573 till 75. When he was 9, he joined the Capuchin Residential School, 1575 to 78. Study was his passion. He was highly gifted in elocution and had a gentle voice. When he was 11, he joined the College of Clermont in Paris in 1578 through 88. He did courses in grammar, humanity, and rhetoric. Later, he did courses in philosophy, mathematics, cosmology, natural history, music, etc. To make Francis an accomplished, gentlemanly, and courageous nobleman, his father wanted him to excel in all martial arts. So Francis studied fencing, horse riding, music, dance, and other skills to perfection. Privately, he also studied theology. Francis was a bright student, intelligent, docile, deeply religious, and meticulously polite. The authorities declared him excellent in philosophy and one of the first in the university. In 1588, he went to study law at the University of Padua. In 1591, at the age of 24, he was declared doctor both in civil and ecclesiastical law.
Francis was ordained a priest on the 18th of December, 1593, in the Cathedral of Annecy. He was consecrated Bishop of Geneva in 1602. As a priest and bishop, he served the people with great devotion and enthusiasm. He suffered a serious stroke and passed away on the 28th of December, 1622. On the 24th of January, 1623, his body was taken to Annecy and buried in the Visitation Convent. He was beatified on the 28th of December, 1661, and canonized as saint on the 19th of April, 1665. He was declared Doctor of the Church on the 16th November, 1877. He was declared the patron saint of writers and journalists on the 26th of January, 1923.
St. Francis de Sales experienced God's goodness in nature. St. Francis was very close to nature. Savoy is a region full of natural beauty, forests, wildflowers, psychedelic hues in autumn, majestic snow-clad mountains, etc. They spoke to him about the infinite perfection of their Creator. The wandering sheep and cattle and birds singing impressed his mind and delighted his heart. Francis took delight not only in reading alone, but also in seeing and communing with nature. He drew most of his examples for his spiritual writings and preaching from nature. His most famous one being, "Always be as gentle as you can, and remember that more flies are caught with a spoonful of honey than 100 barrels of vinegar."
St. Francis de Sales, promoter of fraternal love and kindness. As a young boy, he was brought up in a truly human atmosphere. The very first sentence attributed to little Francis is, "God and my mother loved me much." As a priest, Francis' thinking was different. When some proposed war and conquest to retake Geneva, Francis said, "We must bring down the walls of Geneva with charity. We must invade Geneva with charity. We must recover Geneva with charity." As a bishop, he was simple, frank, and loving. He loved children, and they loved him. To love our neighbor by charity is to love God in humans or humans in God. He once wrote, "I advise you to take the trouble to visit hospitals from time to time, to console the sick, to sympathize with them in their infirmities, to pour out your heart in compassion, and to pray for them."
St. Francis de Sales, a person with an indomitable spirit. The most difficult mission that he took up was in the Chablais, as the Calvinists were opposed to the Catholics. 50 priests who worked there earlier were banished. No one was prepared to go and work there. But Francis readily accepted the mission when he responded to the request of his bishop. "My Lord, if you think that I am capable of it, command me. I am ready. On your word, I shall cast the nest." During this mission, he had to face the dangers from nature like biting cold, ice-covered bridges, torrential rain, danger from wild animals like wolves, the insults and stone-throwing of people. To his frightened cousin Louis, he said, "Now is the time to show courage. If you are not afraid, we may do great things." He left no stone unturned to fulfill his mission.
St. Francis de Sales, a person always in touch with God. Francis's parents were devout Catholics and regularly attended church services. Prayer was an integral part of their daily family life. Francis's mother took care to give him deep religious formation. His regular attendance at church services promoted growth in prayer and faith. From the age of 12, he was firmly determined to belong to the church. He had made up his mind to become a priest. "I would not have changed my decision even to obtain a kingdom." As a priest and a bishop, he never missed his daily spiritual exercise and found time for personal prayer. Prayer at any price was the foundation on which the young priest based his actions from the very beginning of his apostolate.
Francis has written a great deal on prayer. His books, Introduction to the Devout Life and Treatise on the Love of God and Spiritual Conferences, are meant to help people grow in their spiritual life. Some of his inspiring quotations will certainly help us to deepen our life of prayer and improve the quality of our life. Prayer is opening our understanding to God's brightness and light and exposing our will to the warmth of His love. Prayer consists in the wholehearted devotion of the mind towards God, says St. Francis de Sales.
The year 2022-2023 is the significant year for missionaries of St. Francis de Sales because we celebrate the 400th anniversary of the death of our patron, St. Francis de Sales. Our Superior General made an earnest request to all the members of the congregation to meaningfully celebrate this momentous occasion. An entire year, Divine Mercy Sunday 2022 to Divine Mercy Sunday 2023 was set apart to execute various programs at various levels. At the province level, the Nagpur Apostolic Committee had the inauguration at the St. Francis de Sales Cathedral with Holy Mass, presided by Father Anthony de Sousa, the Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Nagpur.
A booklet containing details of the year's program was released. It was decided to commemorate the year of St. Francis de Sales at the province, community, individual, and ministry levels.
At the individual level, the prayer of St. Francis de Sales is said after the Mass in various regional languages. St. Francis de Sales liturgy is used in all the parishes. Messages and quotations of St. Francis de Sales were used in homilies. Every second Saturday of the month, recollections were held based on talks prepared by the members on St. Francis de Sales' life and mission. The introduction to the devout life is being read every day during and before meals or during evening prayer in all the communities.
At the institutions level, monthly themes on the life and virtues of St. Francis de Sales was printed in the school diary and used for assemblies, bulletin boards, school assemblies, public gatherings, etc. Inter-school sports and cultural competitions were held at the zonal level. Different schools organized various inter-school competitions like essay writing, quiz, drawing, etc., based on the life of St. Francis de Sales. Posters and banners are displayed in prominent places in our parishes and schools. For its annual Parents' Day, St. John's High School, Nagpur, by a dance drama, showed glimpses of the life and virtues of St. Francis de Sales. St. Mary's High School, Jalna, organized an exhibition highlighting the importance of the year of St. Francis de Sales, and two schools in Jharkhand, MSFS School, Bara Durgapur, and St. John's School, Kandor, organized sports to mark this significant year. All the members at various levels are actively involved in imbibing and spreading the spirituality of St. Francis de Sales. We pray that all our efforts will bear abundant fruit.
The longest life is not always the best. The best is that which has been best spent in the service of God.
Wishing a happy feast of St. Francis de Sales to all.